Localizers plagiarized fan translations of Ranking of Kings manga. Dun, dun, dun. It has been discovered that the localizers handling the Ranking of Kings manga had potentially plagiarized the fan translations, requiring a delay in printing for quality assurance. Katrina Leonidakis, the localization specialist who previously derided and dismissed fan concerns about authentic translations, exposed the fiasco in a detailed breakdown, explaining how much dialogue was directly lifted from fan translations of Ranking of Kings. Just spent a few hours analyzing the differences between the official release of Ranking of Kings and the scanlation that predates it. 42% of all dialogue in chapter 1 through 3's official translation is directly lifted from the scanlation. Wouldn't it be funny if, like, you know, in like, for example, in Dragon Ball Super, Jiren has that catchphrase "Owarida," right, which is "it's over," right? Wouldn't it be funny if, like, one of the characters just had like single, like, you could literally only translate it one way, like yes, right? And it's like so many of his things are just the yes or no answers, for example. And it's like, well, that's 42% of all the speech bubbles are the exact same in both.
I like the plot hole of she's like the official industry person, and it's like, but to analyze the scanlation, you have to be pirating it.
Yes.
I was gonna say, how do they communicate that he like mumbles? But I guess they just write what he says. Because the main character like goes, yeah. That's like how he fucking talks, right? So
the harder it is to see, the harder it is to hear.
Copy? Yes. So they set up a Excel spreadsheet that tests for is it
Why
the same
would
text?
you waste so much time
hold on.
doing that?
Would it be? So you're just saying each bubble. So 40% of the bubbles. Okay, yep. I guess.
I have in my past experiences and the people I've talked to, fan translations a lot of times have been sometimes more accurate.
Katrina, you are a fool. I gathered this data by grabbing a copy of the official and reading the scanlation on the scanlator site, then painstakingly copying every line into Excel. All you got to do, honey, visit that scanlation site on your fucking iPhone. It has the OCR thing. You can literally just copy the text right out of your screenshot, right? Probably right off of the stupid page. And you wouldn't have had to painstakingly copy it.
It still would have been a pain in the ass.
Wouldn't have taken that long. I don't think so. I counted a line as plagiarized if it was suspiciously identical. That is, there was no reason for it to be identical. Short lines, his ears don't work. Just hand it over. I let slide because it's common for translations to be similar between people. It sounds to me like this person knows who translated it. Is like, I gotcha, bitch. You used the scanlation. Like,
I feel like they're not getting paid enough, and they're just like, I have nothing to do, and I want people to remember I exist.
I want to be hired. They're going to hire me to take over because it's also so
funny that they would go after and that they would say stuff to the effect of translators are going to have like so many, possibly have different, ways they say that. Well, yeah, that is kind of true, but don't take me wrong. You really can't translate stuff too many ways differently, or it's not being appropriately translated.
Well, we all know, like,
we
all know, like, back in high school and shit, when you were trying to, like, copy something but not actually copy it, and you get the thesaurus out, and you're, like, looking up all these fucking words.
Spontaneous, immediate.
You copy it directly from Wikipedia, and you put it into Google Translate into another language, and then you translate it back, and then you make it make sense after.
Yeah, that's the third category they're actually not counting is what's the Google Translate, because if that's the case, then they both got from the same source. It's not plagiarism.
Yeah, definitely. So the percent is slightly skewed by the amount plagiarized in Chapter 3, where a whopping 81% of dialogue bubbles were lifted from the scanlation. If you want to see the worst offenders side by side, it's like Chapter 3 is the war, and it's just You killed me. Like,
Is she fighting for Scanslater rights, or is she advocating for like making Scanslaters the official, or is she literally just trying to weed out all the other translators so she can be the sole translator? I have morals. See,
what do you guys Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I go to scanslation sites. That's what you want your official employees to be doing.
What do you guys think? Like on a moral level, should we care that they're stealing scanlation?
No, I can't believe this is even an issue. Like, oh no, we like the mob cured cancer and we stole their patent. Like, who fucking cares?
Did we? Text is not copyright written, but I mean, yeah, sure. If you wrote a specific text or whatever, but this isn't their book; it's someone else's book that they're translating. It would be like saying YouTube's closed captioning that were user submitted. That's copyright. I don't know, man. It's like it's inherently they're doing it as a fan translation and. Their thing, I'm not going to say that it's necessarily illegal, but it's like it's not their IP to begin with. So when we make a fan translation that hinges off of another IP, it's kind of sketch to sit there and be like, this is my intellectual property. It's like, what are you going to use it for? For your official what? Your not official thing? It's dependent on the copyright content. Sorry, go ahead.
For sure. No, for sure.
I had that thought earlier, actually. Like, so if it's a fan translation, how do they actually have any rights to it to begin with?
Legally, like in terms of copyright, they would definitely. I'm pretty sure they'd be infringing the copyright by uploading the scanlation in the first place, right? Even if they just did the script. Like even if they were like, oh well, we'll be smart and we'll just do the script, and then you kind of got to put 2 and 2 together, read along with the script. I still think that would be an infringement legally. Obviously, not being a lawyer, but it pulls into question like so. I don't know if I've ever said this on any of the podcasts, but Nintendo released Amiibo, right? And they're basically just a little sticker at the bottom of the toy, and that's really all that you need. So a lot of people were buying the stickers online, yeah, and programming them themselves, and along with me. And although I did buy most of them that I ever used, but anyway. So I wanted art to go along with it. So what I did was I basically took the box art and then recreated each box art in Photoshop as a playing card and uploaded them.
Oh, that's cool.
And so you can print out. Yeah.
Admitting to a crime?
Is it a crime? I don't know. Recreating package art, is that a crime? But so what I ended up noticing was that, and there was somewhere like obviously you put your own little touch on the image. It's not 100% recreation. You got a little, you fucked this up, or you did when you were trying to recreate this section, you made it look a certain way that So you kind of like know what was your art, and so I don't think you would have a copyright over that. But you kind of have a copyright over it at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so what I found happening was people were going online, finding my images, printing them off, and then selling those on Etsy and eBay.
Got an NFT, bro.
And making like shit ton of money. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck?
So what you're saying is that you should have got a cut.
Yeah. I wish I got a cut.
I advocate for that. Go ahead.
He's like, I did the heist and did all the work, and you guys are getting the money.
Treasure.
This is GTA all over again for Random 11.
And I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but there was the case of this guy who 3D modeled a tiki hut figure from the Tiki House in Disney World or Disneyland, and a Disney employee actually stole that artwork and started selling it as a model in their stores. And like he took the images and looked at his model and he matched it up like crease for crease. This was 100% his model.
His 3D model, yeah.
Yeah. Now it was based off of the actual Tiki thing that was in the theme park. But obviously he didn't capture every detail 100%. It was his interpretation of what was there. So is Disney allowed to then take that from online, download it, and sell it in their stores? I don't know.
They probably corrected it enough to say, "Oh, but it's different."
They didn't.
No, they didn't.
So Justin Savakis, Discotheque guy, he at one point, I think I don't know if someone asked the question about using fan subs or something, but he basically made it sound like, oh, you don't want to, have to deal with that legal issue or something like that.
I don't understand how this is possibly legally, like,
enforced.
I don't get it. I can't imagine why.
If the translation's accurate, why fucking? What's the problem?
Yeah,
the way earlier it didn't really catch any traction. How does I was trying to say it. How does it make any sense that it's a translation? It's taking one language to the other. How many different ways could it be? How can you even prove that it doesn't make sense that, hey, yeah, this is actually how it was said?
You could almost say that it could be like that Halo thing where it's like, oh, Halo literally used the model that some fan made or whatever, and then their compensation was that they just credited them, and
How about
they
don't
do that,
sue
but again,
your
this
ass,
is-
right?
this is-
Like,
But
No,
I mean,
no.
they could try, but the thing is like that's different. That's like straight up like a product they created, but it's a fan dub of a series that's owned by another company. Not so
I'm
dumb.
saying-
they're a bit different.
I'm saying it's different. Continue.
So she later followed this up in another Twitter thread with a more accurate percentage of how much of the official localizers stole from fan translators. I manually typed out and examined all 826 lines of dialogue in Volume 1 of Ranking of Kings to compare the official release to the previously released scanlation.
You've just committed copyright
An
infringement.
entire volume.
×2.
You're going to be sued for that Excel spreadsheet that has 2 scripts. The official and the scanlation people are suing you now. Joint lawsuit. 67% of all dialogue is a direct copy or slightly edited copy of the fan translation. The question is, why is he so sexualized?
Yeah, I really thought that I mean, this isn't an accurate comparison now because apparently the Ava dub proved to be stupid, and some dubs are held up that you can't get the rights to them. But what I was going to say is that I felt like these subtitles would be kind of like when Discotheque licenses something and they're like, yeah, there's some weird, obscure British dub that almost got lost. They just find it and they just put it on because, like, well, we got the license to the base property, and then you can kind of go from there. So it's like we bought the rights to the show. This is the script for the show or the English version, so we can have at it. Basically, you didn't buy the rights.
Jason Sal says, I wish some companies stole the fan subs because damn, Monogatari fan subs are practically required. All right, so my process of doing this was to type out every line by hand. I type fast. Don't worry about me, Twitter followers. Then compare the translations to the Japanese raw. I left a few comments along the way to keep track of patterns in the translator's style.
Are we going to have to hire Jason South to sub our obscure anime that have no subs?
Yes. I let a lot slide, either because the line was too short to have many alternate translations, or it was different enough to possibly be legit. You're a professional translator. You need to proofread every fucking tweet. So, example, this is the Japanese line. The scanlation says he's saying something in sign language, and the original says, or the official says, he said something to him in sign language. Here's how I could tell that lines were plagiarized. 1, they were copied down to the letter. Some shouts and sounds use the same number of vowels. Oh, shit.
There were exactly 34.
Honestly, wait a minute. All of a sudden, the scanlation is just going to start using all caps.
What? They weren't earlier?
No, that's how I could tell them apart. Is it a different scanlation all of a sudden?
Can you really call it copying if they used a different font?
See,
and
but
all
this
capital letters?
This one's not using the same amount of periods, and not you're grasping at straws.
Ellipses.
Here. Hold on.
Wait, are you talking to me? Because I'm just having fun.
1,
no one's
2,
talking
3,
to you.
4, 5, 6.
You are.
I don't want to talk to you.
See, but
yes,
they just use the same number as is in here. Like,
does that say that?
It says gi, ya. The ya is smaller, so it becomes gya, and then and then a small su, which is like a continuation of
Yes.
Like, so if you count it, the first A is here, the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't understand there. This is a terrible, like, oh, your bombshell here is totally bullshit. Why did you highlight this? But it's not a fight. Okay. Never uses italics, but it does use italics when the scanlation it's copying uses them. Oh, got him. Wonder what the Japanese was using. I like murmur better than chatter. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Murmur.
Also, that's so dumb. Look at that highlighted thing at the top there. Mm-hmm. But it's a boy, not a fight.
But it's about not a fight.
Whatever.
But it's a boy.
Like, it's tiny. I can't fucking read it.
It's tiny.
The point is the part that's italics is the fact that the stress is on those words.
Right.
So, yeah, you highlight. You italic words that where a stress is being put on that word. Like, oh, I didn't say he did it. I said she did it. You would italic those words.
Here's the question. We need to find out who the official translator is, who their name is, so we can ask them, do you have a comment? Did you or did you not steal?
I did not have sexual relationship.
Whoa, what?
Well, we know you didn't, but...
We serve the Bow Kingdom, so this is as far as we can help him. If he sticks to a path, he'll likely arrive at a different kingdom and be fine. There's even one point where the official translation's font size is too big to squeeze the scanlation's script into the bubbles, so it moves part of the sentence to the other bubble to make it fit. Which one is the scanlation then? This has to be the scanlation, right?
I think the one on the left is probably the scanlation.
Isn't it opposite of what AC said earlier?
Why would you do that if you have all this room in the bigger one? Why would you move that? That doesn't make any sense. I don't. Fuck it. After all this, I've determined I don't give a shit.
You can download the Google Docs and look for yourself to make sure which one is which.
I'll probably buy the anime
hold
when
on,
it comes
hold on.
out. I probably won't touch this.
She helpfully included a Google Sheets document providing further insight. Good thing we can click on it and read the whole chapter.
Are we gonna have evidence?
The whole volume. It wasn't just a chapter.
Oh no!
She's infringing the copyright.
You gotta go to the lines. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, this is an archive of it, though.
So now we have the evidence, right?
Book Live and their translation contractor Dragon Digital Japan fully admitted to the chicanery and apologized for the serious damage to the quality of the original work. Volumes 1 through 7, which are readily available in English, will be retranslated, hopefully in a faithful manner. And those who purchase them, well, you can't use any of the previously established legacy translations.
Like,
You're gonna have to start a whole new one.
legacy terms can't be used. You can't use any of the words that they were used before. So that now it's about
Yeah.
not a fight. It's a spar,
It's a
not a
squabble.
brawl.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
They
it's
can
like
no longer
when
start
you're
a
in high
fight. They must
Stupid.
throw hands.
It's like when you're in high school and you have to use the thesaurus to go look up different
You only have
words.
so
And it's
many
like,
words that you can use for that definition.
yeah, and by the time you're done with the sentence, it's like it doesn't mean the same thing anymore.
I
You
think they should
have
just
30
publish
teens
the
in a
next
class,
volume
and
in web
each one of
things.
them, have
Realm 11,
the
I
same
don't-
paragraph. It's just
Well, like,
all
what are they
different
gonna do if the fan translations is like exactly spot on, perfect, even in like localizing?
It'd be funny if the next one that they release is just 100% lifted from the scanlation.
Ram 11, I don't know what you did, but your mic sounds way different now. I had to like double take thinking, who's talking
Does
right
it?
now?
Does it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sounds the same to me.
your tone
You
throughout
sound
the
fine to me.
podcast has changed a
Yeah,
little
what
bit.
Well,
happened
you
to your
sound
ears?
fine, but
Swindle?
you sound different. You don't sound as echoey and stuff. You
Put your
sound more
ears
high
back on.
quality.